Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Paranormal Ripples and otherwise known as Ray. Um Tonight I'm going to be talking about something that is beneath the warm turquoise waves of the Caribbean, and it's not coral, it's not reef, but it's also not the skeletons of ships like pirate ships, but it's stone structures that defy everything that we think we know. Basically, in 2001, off the coast of Cuba's one of their peninsulas in Cuba, a deep sea exploration vessel picked up sonar readings that had perfectly aligned megaliths around and geometric patterns on the sea floor and everything. So I'm going to tell you about this structure in Cuba. So please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. Come and interact with me in the chat if you're watching live. But yeah, this is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be amazing. I think this structure stuff. But basically, in the summer of 2001, Paulina Zelitsky, who was working for a company called the Advanced Digital Communications, based in Canada, he's an ocean engineer as well. He was conducting a deep sea survey in the waters of Cuba, and basically the project was meant to map the entire ocean floor for Cuba, like the Cuban government. And basically, he discovered a large symmetrical structure or set of structures that were about 2,000 feet below the surface. And sonar images, when they come back, basically showed massive stone blocks, and some were aligned like in a grid-like pattern with rectangular and pyramid shapes. And basically, Zelitsky said to the government and that these structures were too regular to be natural, and that these estimated that some of the stones were to be over 20 feet in length, which is even more crazy, and that they were aligned in ways reminiscent of urban planning from an ancient time. So these weren't just like random boulders that they were just picking up and dropping, like you see today, where you just get a brick and it's basically like we know that the brick's doing the job. These were like basically back in the days when we didn't know what bricks were, and or these stones were going to be doing something perfect. So so why was it 2,000 feet under the surface? That's the crazy thing. And why Cuba, and why in Cuba, eh? So basically, who is Paulina Zelitsky? Well, she is basically a respected marine engineer who had experience in this field for over like decades. Basically, she was born in the former Soviet Union, but she immigrated to Canada to help in their basically in their ocean engineering field. But when she worked in the Soviet Union, she was a part of their military submarine detection system team, and basically her work for the ADC, who I just talked about, the Advanced Digital Communications team. Basically, basically it was part of a broader Cuban project that was aimed at undersea exploration, including locating sunken ships, which was from the colonial period of the Spanish Inquisition and stuff like that. And Zelitsky had already made headlines because she had discovered near the Isle of Youth, a submerged Spanish galleon, and she always had credibility that everyone was saying, resources, and no obvious reason to lie or fabricate something of the magnitude of the Cuban structures. But basically, when it came to these Cuban megaliths, however, though, there was questions getting asked about and why she was like asking herself, why am I getting questioned? Why am I getting pressured into like saying that this is a lie when I know it's not a lie because I've got the readings in front of me. So she basically she felt that the Cuban government was putting pressure on her because they didn't want the truth out about what was going here, and that academics, some skeptics like professors and that, didn't want to believe that these structures were real. So basically, the wars around Cuba are not just deep. Basically, they're deeply political because Cuba was still under embargo of the United States, and basically, the discovery of a lost civilization in the Cuban waters would carry complications in the diplomatic sense, and some have also speculated that these ruins downplayed or ignored, or were downplayed or ignored due to the geopolitical tensions between the United States and Cuba. And if you don't know why, Google the Cuban Missile Crisis from JFK's time. But basically, if the ruins were real, Cuba would be like laying claim to one of the most prehistoric sites of global importance that were basically not in American waters. And others claim that the US didn't also want the discovery to shift the narrative around this new world getting found. So even more voices in the conspiracy sense claim that these structures were classified and that governments intervened, like the US and the Cuban governments, and that advanced satellite and submersible data was quietly pulled from public access, but we don't know whether that's true or not. So, could be, could not be, you know what I mean? Could be, could not be. Sound like a William Shakespeare tale. Could be or could not to be. That is the question. Anyways, everyone, remember to like and subscribe and share if you're not already. And hit that notification bell, please, because I want you to be part of this community to get going forward. So the original sonar imagery that basically was collected by Zelitsky's team, it showed something astonishing. And it basically showed a field of megalithic stones, and I'm tried your picture of right, hang on. Hello, everyone who's just tuning in. Right. So basically, you don't know what I'm on about. That's getting up now. Boom. These are the structures that I'm on about, everyone. And hello, who's just tuning in. Come and just say hello and interact with me. And give my and that. But yeah, this is the structure that was found, or these are the structures that were found of Cuba, and that Zelitsky had found. And basically, there's rolled like rectangle complexes, rolled like lines, pyramids, and that. So basically, they said basically when she was doing the paperwork, she literally said it's like an ancient city. There's like plazas, pyramids, and temple foundations, and that these structures stretched basically across an area of like 2 square kilometers, and these formations were too uniform and massive to be dismissed quite easily, but they were. So she looked into it more, and she said there is structures evoked Mesoamerican or Andean architectural principles. And basically, why did no one believe that these are real? Why did they question her? Well, these pyramids, like as you can see, these triangle shapes here on the image. Basically, these resembled step pyramids that were basically similar to those found in Egypt, obviously, and in Central America when Mayans and I think it's the Mayans. Yeah, the Mayans have also. It's just, today's been a rough day, but yeah, the Mayans have also basically got these structures going on, and these are geometrically consistent, which is something that is not basically easily attributed to underwater natural erosion or even volcanic activity. And one area of the site showed parallel grid lines, which I can't get up for you, but this is one picture I can find. But basically, parallel grid lines that were perfect right angles and dozens of meters, and it indicated planned construction. And marine geologists noted on her team that such formations are extremely rare in natural seafloor geology, especially at the depths that these were. So these structures were built at a time when the sea level was obviously far lower than it is today, and it suggested that human activity tens of thousands of years ago was going on like this, and and this also breaks history because any known civilization in America has just gone up in smoke. Because we would have thought that Native Americans were the first in America. Obviously, well, after the giants and all that. But obviously, this breaks it. So there was something else in America. Now, I'll close that for you guys and girls. But people have said, could it be Atlantis? Could that structure be Atlantis? Because obviously, people have the theory of Atlantis ever since Plato's writings. But the other reason why it could be Atlantis is because of the Bimini Road connection. But I'll go on about Bimini Road in a minute. But the location of the Cuban coast fits curiously with some theories that Atlantis was basically lying in the Atlantic near the Caribbean. And could Plato, obviously, have been referring to a real place that existed before the end of the last ice age, where sea levels then dramatically rose due to melting glaciers? And if so, the Caribbean deep like this in Cuba might not just be like a tropical paradise, it could be a graveyard for forgotten empires. Now, I've just mentioned the Bimini Road connection. Right. If you don't know what a Bimini Road connection is, I'm going to show you a picture now of the Bimini Road connection. There's Bimini Road, everyone. So yeah, I mentioned that obviously. But also, Bimini Road, from where this site in Cuba is just 300 miles away. And obviously, as you can see in the picture, it's a famous underwater formation near the Bahamas. And it's often pointed to by archaeologists of the alternative side that it's evidence of a sunken city. And like the Cuban structures, Bimini Road has these like massive rectangular blocks, as you can see, and I'm seeing on this screen here. I'm showing you on here. That is aligned in a pattern that is suggestive of construction from an earlier time, which was not like to this present thing. And hello, everyone who's just tuning in. But mainstream sources and media claim that Bimini Road's basically natural. basically beach rock that has been fractured over time, and hang on everyone. God. Like I said, let me know what your thoughts are as well. I'd love hearing from you guys. But basically, yeah. Mainstream science then, like I said, claims that Bimini is obviously natural. But divers over the years and independent researchers argue otherwise. So that there's tool mark joints. There's also corner angles that are not common in any natural geology of the time. So could Cuba and Bimini World be one? Or could it be from the same ancient culture? You know, like but different miles apart, or could it be one big giant ancient culture? Obviously think about it from a thing. The sea was low when these were around. It would make sense. I know it's only 300 miles apart now, but back in the day, if the sea levels were low, you know what I mean? Remember, everyone, if you're enjoying this, please hit that like button and subscribe. So basically, if these ruins are real, like Bimini and you know the Cuban like ones, how old would they be? Because the sea level obviously provides clues. So to be like 2,000 feet below like the sea level now, the Cuban formations are worked out would predate any known human civilization. So they would go back more than maybe 10,000 years. So if we could think 10 to 50,000 years, then this timeline then conflicts current archaeological consensus because people are saying like Sumer and Egypt were built around 5 to 6,000 years ago. So then and then obviously you look at Earth's geological record, and it shows that there was a giant flood or meteor and at the end of the last ice age, that submerged entire land masses. So what? So was the pyramids in Cuba an attempt from the same people that helped build the pyramids in Egypt? We look at it like that. So this one in Cuba could be like older than the pyramids, older than Göbekli Tepe. So you know what I mean. So obviously Zelensky's I asked my on Google whether anyone else had done findings or read anything from her papers basically. But basically after initial reports in 2001 when she come out with this, there was no peer reviewed papers, there was nothing. Basically she was told to keep hush about it, and you know, why has that been a thing, you know? Why are they hiding at the bottom of the sea? You know? And obviously, now people are saying that there's also a strange phenomenon around this megalith. Because people said that there's mysterious lights under the sea where these megaliths are. There's compass malfunctions like in the Bermuda Triangle, which, you know, and there's also apparently voices that seem to echo under the sea, or the ocean, or whatever you want to call it. And some claim that it's part of a Caribbean triangle, built like the Bermuda Triangle. So could these ancient sites be doing some kind of power generator? You know? It's kind of crazy to think because there's so many megalithic sites around the world. There's like Baalbek, there's Puma Punku, the Great Pyramids, these Cuban ones, Göbekli Tepe, you know, there's that one in Indonesia. I think it is Indonesia. Or is it Singapore? I think it's Indonesia. But obviously, people think that could they be part of an ancient grid, power grid? Like technologically speaking, could it be like like these sites were once like high powered places? Mainstream archaeologists obviously scoff at these ideas, but could the megaliths beneath the Caribbean played a key part in like navigation, communication, energy transmissions? It's all kind of crazy, you know. So obviously, I'm sorting the truth from the theory now. In 2001, these are the confirmed facts that we all know about. In 2001, Paranormal Legacies advanced the AD or ADC team, Advanced Digital Communications team, reported discovering underwater structures off the peninsula about 2,000 feet deep. Sonar images showed formations interpreted as large stone blocks in geometric arrangements, and the story was reported at the time by media outlets including Reuters, BBC, National Geographic, then some others. But the disputed and unconfirmed reports, obviously, or facts, is that no peer-reviewed study has ever verified that these structures were man-made. No publicly available underwater footage conclusively basically proved that these step pyramidal rolls have surface to prove that its existence. And obviously the Cuban government and associated institutions have not ever released their further findings. And obviously the theories regarding Atlantis and the ancient power grid is inconclusive because we don't know that for sure. So basically, let me know what you think in the chat if you're watching live, or if you're going to put in a catch up, or if you're watching on catch up, put something in the comments because I want to know all your theories, please. And I want you as part of this community going forward if you're new here. So obviously, here we are, 25 episodes into Abandoned Legacies, and this is a submerged mystery. So in the Caribbean deep, there may lie a key to our forgotten past that we don't know about. That this puzzle could be the way of the sea protecting us for thousands of years. Could it be the lost sea of Atlantis? Could it be another civilization? Could it be Lemuria? Could it be just an incredible natural formation like Bimini Road, they're saying? Or, but one thing's for sure, the truth is not surfaced yet, and I don't know when it will ever surface. Basically, like I said, if this episode has stirred your curiosity to keep on following me and this journey I'm on, subscribe to me, share this with anyone that you think will find it interesting, turn the notification bell on, and smash that like button. And thank you all so much for watching. Have a good rest of your night. Take care. And I'll be on live again tomorrow night. Bye-bye, everyone.